Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kopi Jana Parivajacharya Astata Sadashrayasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Ananta Kota Vaishnavinda ki Namacharya Harirasa Thakur ki Prem Se Koho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhana Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Dham ki, Ganga Maya ki, Yamuna Maya ki, Tulasi Deva ki, Bhakti Deva ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Lord Chaitanya's Harinam Sankirtan, Brihatmananda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Shri Panchatattva ki, Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki, Go Premanand, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Madhavendra Puri Avibha Mahotsav ki, all glorious to the Samba devotees, all glorious to the Samba devotees, all glorious to the Samba devotees, all glorious to Shri Guru Gauranga, all glorious to Shri Samba. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nevasesha Samyavadi Astachare Shatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, this chapter 43, Canto 10. Which text number? Did you read number 1 yesterday?
Yes,
You did. Did you read the introduction also?
Yes,
We read the kind of like this page with a summary of the chapter. You read that, and you read the verse 1. So today we're on 2. Probably we'll read a few verses. Probably. Let's see. Is it on the board? Is it accessible to everybody? Not on the board. Not on the screen. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do. Rangadwaram Sammasadya Tasmin Nagam Avastitam Apashyat Kuvalayapidam Krishna Ambashta Prachoditam Rangadwaram Samasadya Tasmin Nagam Avastitam Apashyat Kuvalayapidam Krishnam Vashta Prachoditam Rangadwaram Samasadya Tasmin Nagam Avastitam Apashyat Kuvalayapidam Krishnam Vashta Prachoditam Rangadwaram Samasadya Tasmin Nagam Avastitam Apashyat Kuvalayapidam Krishnam Vashta Prachoditam
Rangadwaram Samasadyam Tasminagam Avastitam Apasya Kuvalayapidam Krishno Vashta Prachoditam
Rangadwaram Samasadya Tasmin Nagam Avastitam Apashyat Kuvalayapidam Krishnam Vashta Prachoditam Rangadwaram Samasadya Tasmin Nagam Avastitam Apashyat Kuvalayapidam Krishnam Vashta Prachoditam. Ladies. Rangadwaram Samasadya Tasmin Nagam Avastitam Apashyat Kuvalayapidam Krishnam Vashta Prachoditam Rangadwaram Samasadya Tasmin Nagam Avastitam Apashyat Kuvalayapidam Krishnam Vashta Prachoditam. Ranga of the arena, Dvaram, the gate, Samasadya, reaching, Tasmin, In that place. Nagam. An elephant. Avastitam. Standing. Apashyat. He saw. Kuvalayapidam. Named Kuvalayapida. Krishnaha. Lord Krishna. Ambasta. By his keeper. Prachoditam. Urged on. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Not by Srila Prabhupada, excuse me, by disciples of Srila Prabhupada. When Lord Krishna reached the arena, the entrance, to the arena, he saw the elephant Kuvalayapida blocking his way at the urging of his keeper. Yesterday you heard how Krishna Balaram, having executed all necessary purification, then heard the kettle drums resounding at the wrestling arena, and they went there to see what was happening. Those big drums, they're like kettles, Boom, 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 bang on them, to herald a great event is about to take place. Sometimes different tunes for different, reasons. If it's a war, there will be a different tune banging on the drums. If a great personality is coming, to herald them a different one. In this case, there's a competition about to start. It brings everyone together. When you hear the conch shell, everyone knows that it's time for prasadam. No, time for... Sometimes they blow the conch. You don't need much notice for prasadam. You're queuing up outside waiting for it already. Waiting for the class to finish. But Mangalarti, Hear the conch blow. Some of you have been to Jaipur. Who's been to Jaipur? Jaipur. Some of you have been to Jaipur? Oh yeah, you went there, Pitambar. You went to Jaipur, right? You went to Jaipur? No, I thought you had your hand up. Maybe previous lifetime. You've been to Jaipur. You've been to Jaipur. Chaitanya, you've been to Jaipur? No. No one else? Okay. And you go there, especially if you go to the main temple in Jaipur. It's called Radha Govindaji. Temple of Govindaji. Famous temple in Jaipur. Famous all over India. Jaipur is an amazing place. It's called the Pink City. They've got lots of dwarams, nice gates there also. The city's pink. All the buildings designed very carefully according to Vasudeva. Everything's beautiful pink color. It's in the city center, not outside. So the Govindaji temple is the center of the city. It's like the main. The king's palace is like facing the temple, and like gardens in between. And in the morning you go there, I don't know what time, 4:30, 5 o'clock, I can't remember what time the aarti is. And you'll see thousands of people running from all over the place to get to the temple on time for the aarti, or to take darshan of Radha Govindaji. In the early morning, they're all running to the temple. They're not running to the work or some other place. They're running to the temple. Very nice. And the way they came onto that. Oh yeah, we were reading yesterday's verse. Kettle drums. But they don't. Well, they do. We bang drums also during kirtan. We beat on the drums. The war. We're on. This is our war against Maya. We go on Sankirtan. Okay. We beat drums and kartals and chant loudly Hare Krishna. These are our weapons, if you want to call it that. They're not just our Krishnas, but we, on behalf of Krishna, we're carrying those weapons to herald Krishna's coming. Krishna's coming. Open your ears. Krishna's coming. And this way we're, in one sense, shooting arrows into people's ears. Bullets. Shooting them into their ears. Wake up, wake up. You're sleeping souls, wake up. So they heard. Then they went to see what was happening. What's going on here? Kettle drums are banging. Of course they knew there was a Dana Yogya wrestling sacrifice going on. Interesting, wrestling, even Prabhupada said, I don't know if the ladies wrestle or not, probably, but the men especially said it's a good sport for men, wrestling. It's kind of, good exercise, I guess. Let that passion out in a less, I'd say, dangerous way. Wrestling and swimming, Prabhupada said, these two things are good for Vaishnavas. I mean, obviously, your nature may not be that way, but it's not therefore we should spend our whole day wrestling and swimming. The Prabhupada said wrestling and swimming are good for Vaishnavas. We should do, that's all we do all day long, wrestle and swim. The same thing, Prabhupada, they say, he likes 7-Up. You know this? 7-Up, you've heard this drink? You have it here, 7-Up? Pardon? It's available. I know it's probably a little expensive for most people. And they have this drink, 7-Up. In the West, it's very popular. Sparkling kind of sweet drink. And apparently, Prabhupada took it. Well, he did take it on occasion, maybe on the airplane, because you don't have much choice, And beer and coffee and, some juices. But Prabhupada, he found it was good for his digestion, So occasionally you take it. But whenever Prabhupada would arrive in the temple, the temple shopper would buy like 10 crates of 7-Up, 200, bottles or cans of 7-Up. The cool room was full of 7-Up, Prabhupada might take one, he may not. But the rest, it didn't take long for them to disappear. The devotees would dive in there. I calculated one time, I can't remember the figure, but it was a phenomenal figure. Amongst, this is back in the 70s, late 70s, I guess. It used to be a treasure in the temples. I calculated, not just in our temple, but overall, we were spending in Iskcon about $200,000 on 7-Ups.
Wow.
Worldwide. It wasn't a very big world of Iskcon, Just because the world said, Prabhupada likes 7-Up, we have to drink 7-Up. It became the national drink of Iskcon. In like a tradition. That wasn't the idea. Prabhupada even said you should learn to make a drink like this with the same properties. He said the same thing about ice cream. And Prabhupada took ice cream, he said the same thing about chocolate, I believe. We should make it ourselves, not that we buy the, karmic product. But if you like those things, you have to learn how to make them without the, unofferable ingredients. So they went to see what was happening there. It's natural, there's a natural propensity, isn't it, when people like to see what's happening, isn't it? Whatever it is, they like to see what's happening. What's happening over there? There's a big crowd gathering. What's happening over there? What's going on? Maybe there's a fight going on. Especially the men, they like to see there's a fight going on. Kind of fun. It's not really, it shouldn't really be in one sense, but it does. So today's verse, translation. When Lord Krishna reached the entrance of the arena, he saw the elephant, Kuvalayapita, blocking his way at the urging of his keeper. Purport. The elephant keeper revealed his malicious intent by blocking Lord Krishna's entrance into the arena. The whole thing was to give Krishna as hard a time as possible, and there are certain persons of that kind of mentality who try to block the Sankirtan, don't they? They try to block this movement. They don't know, you can't come here in Makati. They have like guards, you can't go past a certain point, It's not like that in most places in Manila, but in Makati, they don't let you, I don't know if they still do, but you go along that road and they cross the road, they won't, no, then the guards come, the security men, no, stop, can't come here. They do that in Paris, the same thing, in certain places, special places. Stop, you can't come in. Or shopping malls, how many shopping malls? You can't go into a shopping mall, right? Not allowed. Generally, all over the world, almost always the same thing is there. You cannot enter. This is a demoniac mentality. Blocking Krishna from entering into performing the yoga. Is a Dana yoga, is a different one. We're doing the Sankirtan yoga, so they're trying to block the Sankirtan yoga. Stop Krishna, you're not allowed in here. You're not allowed in here. This is our place. In Mawulamba, in Australia, is a village, is a town. We have a big farm there. Have you been there? Who's been there to Australia? You've been there. You've been to Mawulamba. You've been to New Govardhan. You know the town nearby, Mawulamba. It's just a town, not very big. And a lot of devotees live there. But anyway, it was a common thing. The devotees, you know, they didn't have enough flowers. What do you do when you don't have enough flowers?
Go to the cemetery.
Huh?
Go to the cemetery.
We may go to the cemetery if there's flowers there. Not a very good place to pick flowers, by the way. It's not very auspicious. But anyway, you go somewhere and try to pick flowers. So Mawulamba has a nice park, you know, lots of flowers. So in the middle of the night, the devotees go there and pick the flowers. No one's around. And this came to the notice of the council. You know, they didn't know. They found, you know, they realized it was the Haris who were picking them. You know, so they put a big sign up in the park. These are not Krishna's flowers. These are not Krishna's flowers. They think they belong to them, but actually everything belongs to Krishna. They're trying to block the idea that, you know, everything belongs to Krishna. Of course, they're like kind of a bit semi-innocent, really. I mean, you can understand their sentiment. But in reality, that's what they're for. They're meant for the pleasure of Krishna. Everything's meant for the pleasure of Krishna. This is the difference. A demon and a devotee, like Kamsa, he's thinking it's meant for his pleasure, right? Like the tal fruit in the Taliban, you know, the pastime of Krishna killing Denakasura, Taliban forest. The forest Tala, the forest of Tal is a fruit, very sweet fruit. And Denakasura, he was working under Kamsa. He didn't, you know, those fruits were meant for Kamsa, no one else. You see? So he wouldn't let anyone else touch them. He didn't even bother about them himself. His cup of tea, so to speak. But he wouldn't let anyone else. It's a demoniac mentality. You don't want anyone else. And that's miserly mentality, very demonic. Anyway, he's working under Kamsa, this elephant keeper. And his business, he's doing his business, working under the demoniac king Kamsa, and this is his business. And of course, the idea is that the elephant will then kill Krishna, that's the idea. Destroy the movement, stop them. Like some people think if they smash the temples, they stop. You know, they kill your god, or they end you off or something. They have no idea what spiritual life is. And they think it's an external thing, you know. They don't realize. You know, when the boys were in Melbourne, you know, you're an Adelaide boy, or you're an Adelaide boy, aren't you? But you've been in Melbourne a lot. You know, in Melbourne, they used to have a lot of problems on Harinam in Melbourne. In the early days, early 70s, and every day, even the council, there's a big guy in the council, and he said, over my dead body, you know, will they, you know, get permission and it wasn't the same thing in Edinburgh. They wouldn't let us do Harinam, and one of the chief councillors actually put in the newspaper, over my dead body, they'll get permission. Over my dead body. And believe it or not, that councillor died of a heart attack a few days after the article.
Wow.
So over his dead body, we got permission to chant there. They do everything they can to stop the Harinam, you know, or to speak of book distribution sometimes. You can get away with that a little bit more. I don't seem to cotton on there. But Harinam often is stopped. In Melbourne, they were arrested many times for Harinam Sankirtan. Prabhupada said, just don't stop, just carry on. But Prabhupada arresting us. Chant in the prison. Sit in the prison and just chant. Eventually they won the case, you know. They had so much public support. We had the same thing, in Gainesville. Have you heard of Gainesville? Gainesville? Have you heard of Gainesville? Where's Gainesville? Florida. There you go. up to date with world events or with geography. Pardon? Huh?
He knew that.
He what?
I said it.
Oh, you said it, and you said it. You said
Look like a guy.
Florida. You know where Florida is?
Yeah.
You must know where Florida is. It's a holy place. Trump comes from there, doesn't he? Or at least he's very prominent there. Papa went there a few times. We have quite a few temples there. But one is in Gainesville, it's a preaching center, one of the best in the world. Many devotees have joined, I guess they're still joining. But what Gainesville is really famous for goes back to 1971, by the Muni Swami. He started the Food for Life there. I think he started one of them started, Aravindo or him, one of them. They started the Food for Life there, prasad distribution. They call it Food for Life, just distributing prasad. It's prasadam for life, it's not food for life, prasad for life. We're not interested in giving food particularly. We're interested in giving prasadam to people. Giving food may get some sentimental, support, but that doesn't necessarily, it's not my real goal. My real goal is to purify. And the essential feature of distributing food is it's offered to Krishna. To distribute prasad, they've been doing it ever since then, without a break practically. I don't know how many years ago, but some years ago, 20 years maybe, the university decided no more. They have rules, they're trying to stop it. Because in all universities now in America, you have to be under a franchise of some recognized, like McDonald's or KFC or one of these, Jollibee or whatever you've got over here. A franchise, you have to be under one of the corporates. You can't be independent. They won't give permission on site, on the campus for an independent restaurant or independent food distribution. One of the reasons is, of course, it's free, or for donation or whatever it is, a small price. So the restaurants are, therefore, not very happy that that this is going on, because every day they distribute over 1,000 plates, full plates, not just a little kitchery, a full plate of prasadam to an average of over 1,000 students a day on the campus. Very popular. Even big people were students there, and there was one famous story of this really famous a talk show on television. He challenges people. He calls people in. This guy became a really expert dismantler of anyone's philosophy. Christians, Muslims, atheists, anybody. He would tear them apart, He's expert. He'd be one of the most experts. So they invited he asked the Hare Krishnas to come on. The devotees accepted the challenge. They went on his show. And everyone's expecting, a battle on stage here. And the first thing he said, well, we asked questions like, so you're Hare Krishnas, is that right? Can you tell us something about your philosophy? And he said, that's very interesting, tell us more. He went on like this. There was no challenge at all. They always were wondering what's going on. And he said, well, I was a student in Gainesville. I took prasadam every day at your Food for Life or your program. He really liked the Hare Krishnas. He said, you're the only ones I like. Not say don't like, but the only ones I appreciate like that, like or not like. That's his job was challenge, but he didn't challenge at all. He was just open. He just wanted everyone to hear the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. He said it's so good. I remember one time we were on Harinam, a place called Utoxeter. It sounds a bit detox. They needed to be detoxed. The place is most famous for gambling and drinking. A big racing course there, horse racing. And rich people, and they're all pubs everywhere, and men, they go and drink, then they go to the horses and spend all their money. So we went on Harinam one time. We were having a retreat somewhere nearby in the hills. About 70 of us went down, and half of them were like elderly Indian ladies who went down on a Harinam down there. And there was more of us than there were people. All the men were in the pubs. There was no one on the street. Well, they were at the races. empty. There's so many of us, and we just went up. The street was only 200 meters long, the shopping area. We went up, down, oh, what to do now? We went round, I think we went around the back streets, and there was this garden pub. Everyone was sitting outside in the garden. It was a nice sunny day. Hundreds of men all drinking like anything. And so it was like a little kind of, what do they say? What's the word? We have many of them, little alleyway, a little alley between the road and the pub. I could see them through the alley, so we looked down and saw them. So see many people you could see. So we took the party. Not everyone went. They were a little bit timid. And some of us went down the alleyway to where the drinkers were, you know. No one stopped us. We went straight in there, in the middle, and all the men looked round, you know, these guys with their pints of beer in their hands all there. You know, as the drunken people often do. There must have been 200 of them in there at least. And they had a stage. There was some music on the stage. Some guy was singing. He saw us coming, he stopped singing. Hey, come! We went up on the stage, we took the stage, and they had all these guys with their hands, hooray, hooray, Krishna, Krishna, hooray. And at the end, the guy, you know, he said, give me the mic. And the guy was singing, Hare Krishna is the best religion in the world, he shouted on the mic. Say a prayer for my football team. If they don't win today, they get relegated. That was his next line. I think he must have liked us because they didn't get relegated. I checked it out. They did not get relegated. They won. And they survived. He must have been very impressed by the Hare Krishna. They're having a great time, you know. Yeah, so that's when people get drunk, they're a little less inhibited, you know. They're a little bit more easygoing usually. Anyway, in different ways, the holy name, they can't stop it. No matter what they do, they always would chant wherever they are, they'll never stop. Nothing can stop this Hare Krishna movement. Although that fear is there, as we mentioned the other day, a fear that it may be stopped. But nothing will stop it. Only Krishna's arrangements, of course, with a period of time that the holy name, the Mahamantra, the Sankirtan movement will be spread widely and giving everyone a chance to join the Sankirtan. The whole purpose is to bring everyone into the Sankirtan movement, one way or another, whatever way it is, but somewhere or another, to bring them in. And of course, Krishna's different situation here, last resort. You know, Krishna normally kills the demons, huh? And he's about to kill a few demons here. The wrestlers were not, in one sense, were not kind of demons in one sense. They actually had some respect for Krishna and Balaram. There was some kind of devotion in their consciousness, but they had their business to do. And you see this sometimes, even devotees oppose Krishna, but by Krishna's arrangement. Bhishma, Drona, they're devotees. They had to fight against, not directly against Krishna, but against Krishna and Arjuna. They had to fight. So something that's happened by Krishna's arrangement. So everything ultimately, of course, is Krishna's arrangement. We heard the other day, is his pastimes. All this is part of his pastimes. If these things didn't take place, we wouldn't have much to hear about, would we? Krishna's God, Hari Bol. Krishna's God, worship him, Hari Bol. Krishna's the creator, Hari Bol. Krishna's love, Hari Bol. Krishna's, you can never understand him, Hari Bol. Krishna, you can never see him, Hari Bol. Krishna has no form, Hari Bol. Yeah, it's not very exciting, is it? I mean, kind of mostly it's like that in religion or in personal meditation and so on, isn't it? They have no idea that the actual form, some people deny it altogether. It's like blasphemy to think of it. He has no name. He has no, pastimes. He has no, nothing. He has nothing. He's just God. Or it is God. It's God. Whatever. Everything's God. Something like that. There's no rasa whatsoever. No relation. You dress in a day, as some of you. It's so beautiful. Huh? So personal. So personal. You're cooking for the deities. Not Buddhism. It's so personal, so personal. It's very personal. This relationship develops like that. The relationship between the mother and the child becomes solidified. The mother's feeding the child, she's clothing the child, she's cleaning the child. The relationship becomes inseparable. Inseparable. When the child's problem, the mother gives her heart, her life to the child. Inseparable. So like that with Krishna, when we do dedicate your life like that, trying to think what it's like, please him, give him, feed him, the way Madhava Soda, the mood of Madhava Soda. If I don't feed Krishna, he'll die. She thinks if I don't feed him, he'll die. She's not thinking, he doesn't need feeding, he's God. Most people think like that. He should feed us. He's God, he has to feed us. There's not much love involved there, is there? I don't think so. There's a relationship, but it's not one of very much. It's not. It's kind of dependency. It's definitely a relationship, but it's not embellished with the same sweetness and love of the mood of Madhava Soda. If he doesn't eat, he doesn't eat, he'll die. You have to eat. Come on. If you don't come home, even with Lord Chaitanya, Mother Satya, if you don't study, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get a wife, you're not going to get any money, you'll be no good for nothing. You have to study. He was like that sometimes. So there's a different relationship with God, but ultimately these pastimes are practically unknown. They're just mythology to people. Isn't it? Simply myth. Some Hindu mythology. That's what they say. And we may also think like that sometimes because we are contaminated with that same limited senses and misconceptions of what life is, and that's one understands the nature of the soul, but the soul is not limited. I was thinking last night, when we hear about some of these things, it's inconceivable, isn't it? Some of these pastimes we hear about from our perspective. But if you're in the body of an ant, how many, I don't know, ants not, but I think it's or maybe frogs, they spawn, don't they? They make spawn, is it spawns? Spawn. Frog spawn in the waters. They off millions of spawn. They produce millions at one time, kids. Baby frogs. Most of them probably get eaten or die. But they produce millions of them. Like, we can't do that. We can't. We discussed the ant the other day, the minuscule ant and how complex its structure is, or a cell, how complex a cell is. They say that in one little cell there's like a city going on in there. It's so complex. They say one invisible cell. This is inconceivable, isn't it? There's so many inconceivabilities within our own. Like, we accept these things. We don't know how, but we accept that they are realities. We don't say, oh, it's just a myth. Why don't we say it's a myth? I can't see it. Right? But we don't. We accept, because with science at least, it's a reality. Maybe you can see it in some microscope, I don't know. What's the difficulty of understanding that just because it's not present now? You imagine 200 years ago somebody thinking you could, tap on a computer and talk, a mobile phone and talk to somebody on the other side of the world? Probably not. I think you're mad. They might kill you if you said that. Because they have no experience. They're so blinded. We have no experience of matter, what to speak of spirit. The spiritual things have to be heard. Heard from those who have the vision. That's why Sadvidipanipatina. Those who've seen the truth, Tattva-darshanas. Isn't it? If you want, even materially, if you want to know something, you don't know anything about much, but none of us do. If you want to know something about something which someone knows about, you have to ask them. They might be able to tell you more at least. If we want to know about spiritual things, we have to hear from the spiritual person. Why all these pastimes? What's this got to do with it? These are just stories. They're not just stories, they're related to Krishna. And to see everything related to Krishna is you could say in one sense, their practicing stage is almost like perfection of practice when we see everything related to Krishna. Everything. So then Prabhupada said we have something to think about. Think about it. What are you going to think about today? What are you going to think about today? Coca-Cola, was it 7-Up? That's probably all you remember from the class is 7-Up. Old guys drinking beer in a pub somewhere. What are you going to think about today? Huh? What are we going to think? What am I going to think about? Good question. What are we going to think about today? You've got to be ready, when you dream at night, you got to be careful of those thoughts you can see. Well, are we filling our heart enough with remembering Krishna or not? Probably not. Probably not. There are different reasons why one has, crazy things in your dream, but there's a good chance you'll have more Krishna conscious thoughts when you might die in your sleep. Many people, I was thinking that the other day, I think, God, this is ridiculous, People say he died peacefully in his sleep. God knows what's going on there. Yeah, isn't it? You don't know what's happening. The guy's asleep. Dreams they seem like they last years sometimes. It's just a click of a finger. You don't know what's going on in there. Everybody knows different types of dreams and not always so nice. You don't know what's going on. You have to practice hearing about Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, remembering Krishna. There's a better chance that we'll remember Krishna, whether it's in a dream or whether it's in a conscious, semi-conscious, whatever state it's in. Sometimes you're in a coma, what they call a coma. That doesn't mean you're lifeless. It means, you can't communicate externally, that's all. You don't even know what's going on inside. There's not necessarily no pain, by the way. They don't visually see pain. But you don't know what's going on inside. And neither do they. Sometimes they remember. One devotee was in a coma for one of my friends. What, you know her? Gokul, you know Gokul? She's from Philippines. Gokul, Mother Gokul. She lives in London. Yeah. Mother Gokul. Her husband Krishnadas, he was in a coma for about 6 weeks. He had an accident on a motorbike. He drives a motorbike. He was going down to do the puja at the temple in Soho Street. And a taxi just pulled out straight in front of him and drove straight over him. Straight over him. The guy didn't look. He just smashed him. Straight. He had smashed his back to this day. He broke his back, his neck, everything. He was in a coma for about 6 weeks. They didn't think he'd live, but he survived. And he can remember some of it. And it's not all what we would like to remember. Not all of it. Some things he could remember. So what to do? We have to try to remember Krishna. There's other pastimes. But even if we just remember Krishna entering into the Dhyana Yoga, Kuliyapita blocking him, remembering Krishna. It may not be the end of the story, but it's, it's some remembrance of Krishna should be there. Something. That's what the program is for, to remember Krishna. Isn't that what we say? What's that verse? Always remember Krishna, never forget him. Madhava satatam Vishnu Vishmatavena. The elephant keeper revealed his malicious intent by blocking Lord Krishna's entrance. So he'll have malicious intent, they try to stop. And we may have malicious intent too. We also, for whatever reason, we may not to direct it. We stop. And Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said that anyone who impedes the performance of Sankirtan Yoga in any way is an ashtika, atheist. doesn't matter what you're dressed like, even if devotees stop it. Sometimes institutionally, we may also, not very often, but sometimes it happens. You have to be careful. This is the purpose of this movement, is to perform yajna. Is to perform the Sankirtan yajna. That's what the movement's for. Prabhupada didn't form this movement to make followers exactly, or to make temples. All that was done to facilitate the execution of Sankirtan. That's what it was for. Even the philosophy is to convince us to perform Sankirtan. We can purify, so we can, our performance of Sankirtan not only becomes more natural, but it becomes more beneficial and more effective, more pleasing to Krishna. But that's this movement, is to perform Sankirtan yoga, what it's for. And that's not the ultimate, the ultimate thing is to please Krishna, to awaken. And what pleases Krishna most is, develop love for Krishna, Krishna prema. But that Krishna prema we're talking about, Krishna loves, we talk about tonight, because today is the appearance or disappearance, which is it?
Disappearance.
Pardon?
Disappearance of...
Appearance or dis?
Disappearance.
Disappearance. Dis or ap?
Dis.
D-I-S.
Yes,
The disappearance, is that correct?
yes, Madam.
Disappearance of Madhavendra Puri today. It's a big festival. If you've been to Shantipur in India, today there's a huge festival there. Prasad distribution to tens of thousands of local devotees, and anyone who happens to be around. Iskcon goes there and distributes huge quantity of prasad in Shantipur. Well, it's related to Advaita Charya. It's today anyway. We will be remembering Madhavendra Puri, because today is his Tirubhav, his disappearance day. And he is the root. He's the root. In one sense, we could say the seed, but the first appearance in our parampara of Madhurya or Krishna prema in this mood of intimate, loving relationship with Krishna appeared in the form of Madhavendra Puri. So the seed was planted by Madhavendra, further cultivated by Ishvara Puri, and fully matured by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. So the fruits are growing, and our business is to take those fruits. Not everyone will want them. Danya Kasura tried to stop Balaram and Krishna getting into the fruits of the Tao forest. Kuvriya Peter is trying to stop Krishna getting into the Dana Yogya. Demons like that. They don't want. They want to keep for themselves. This is our mal. This is our money. This is our flowers. This is our street. This is our world. They have this illusion. Demon thinks it belongs to them. The demonic mentality is thinking anything belongs to me. Is the influence of demonic mentality. Even their own body. It's a big thing. It's a very unfortunate. Poor kids, it's very difficult for them, I understand. We understand that. But they're misled. And they think that, they can do what they like with their bodies. It's campaign, abortion and what have you. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. And nobody, some people do, but the big wave now is fine, it's okay. It's your body, you can do what you like with your body. It's not my body. You can't do what we like with our body. We try. But it belongs to Krishna. Bhumi Apalo, come, nobody is able to try. It's Krishna's energy. It's not ours. We're like staying there for a little while inside it, but it doesn't belong to us. We become attached and trying to enjoy it. It's meant for Krishna's enjoyment. Our bodies are meant for his enjoyment. People think it's mine, I can do what I like with it. This is basically the disease condition which we suffer from. Ignorance, people in ignorance. So much preaching to do, so much work to do. Sankirtan Yoga has to be performed. both in the temple, in your home, in your heart, on the street, wherever you go. Sankirtan yoga must be there. There'll be no change of those. Any questions? Very exciting pastime, this Kuvalayapida pastime. You've read it? You know another thing about these pastimes, I don't know about Kuvalayapida, maybe it removes that tendency to block the progress of devotional service. Dhanakasura is the same thing. I mean, it's worded differently, but actually he represents that blocking of, going forward in devotional service. This is one of the biggest blocks in the world in terms of whether religion or spirituality. You block the advancement of others in various ways. They can't go forward, otherwise they'll be more advanced than me. We don't accept this because it's not in our doctrine. Not able to look outside of the box. And sometimes devotees also, again, there should be no imitation. Prabhupada said first deserve and then desire. But we should know what our goal is also. Our goal is not just to be practitioners, our goal is to love Krishna. Spontaneously. But we have to deserve first before we can desire. We can desire that, but we have to know the process whereby that's available, that's possible. There's a process. To get into the arena, Krishna's a process. Krishna's going to have to kill Kuvalayapida. So if we want to enter into the actual Sankirtan arena, we have to kill the anarthas. The anarthas, they represent anarthas. All these demons represent anarthas. You know what anartha is? What is anartha? Pardon? You're probably right. Louder?
The dirt in your heart.
Yeah, the dirt in our heart. So, what does that mean, the dirt in our heart? Pardon?
Unwanted desires.
Unwanted desires, false identities. Pardon? Yeah, all these different emotional displays which are, detrimental. And you go on, dirty things in our heart. Covering our consciousness, clouds in our consciousness. They have to be killed, they have to be removed, otherwise you can't enter in. So Kuvalayapida and his keeper and whoever else is with him, they have to be removed. So Krishna will remove them. So by hearing these pastimes, it helps us to also, remove some of these anarthas from our hearts. Each of these demons represents a different anartha, or more than one sometimes. And by hearing them, this is one of the, it's not, and if we hear 100% attentively with complete surrender and submission, then you can have more effect. Otherwise, it takes a little longer, you have to hear a lot. If you have a mountain of sin, where's that verse? Is it in the third canto? And it said, where it describes how Lord Shiva becomes all the more auspicious. He takes the water of the Ganga on his head. Shiva means auspicious. He becomes more auspicious by taking Ganga Jal on his head. Carries the whole weight of river Ganga coming into the universe. And it's because that water has washed the lotus feet of the Lord. Not just because it's water, it's washed the lotus feet of the Lord. It becomes unlimitedly auspicious. So meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord destroys, just like Indra's thunderbolt smashes great mountains. Then Prabhupada described about how the heart is covered. It's like a mountain of sin in our hearts. And just like Indra smashes with his thunderbolt great mountains, meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord smashes to pieces the mountain of sin in our hearts. Thinking of Krishna one way or another. This is what smashes this mountain, turning to Krishna. Turning to Krishna instead of turning to Maya. Only Krishna can save us from the onslaught of Maya. Only Krishna can save us from the Kuvalapidas and the Denadisuras and the Shankas, whoever they are, all the different demons who try to thwart Krishna consciousness. We turn to him. Therefore, Bhagavan said, therefore, one has to meditate for a very long time to smash all of these mountain of sin within our hand. We always take shelter with the holy name. Chant more. Hare Krishna will smash. Oh, it's not that Krishna is like a hammer or something, but his association dissipates the darkness of ignorance, dissipates the anarthas. That's the understanding. Depending on how much we're taking shelter of the holy name. I suppose. Yes. Ashraya, Mataji.
I wanted to ask how to develop a strong taste in chanting the holy names.
How do you develop a strong taste? You mean deep taste. You mean deep taste in chanting. A taste which will sustain and not just an occasional taste when your favorite kirtan leader is singing, when your idol is singing, or when you're singing, or whatever it is, and people are recognizing you, and that was a really nice kirtan, Ashraya. Can you sing?
I sing.
Is she a kirtan leader? Yeah, is she a kirtan leader? Yeah? No.
She tried.
She tries, okay. It's good, everyone should try. According to the time and circumstance, we should try. At least we can try to follow. But some devotees, for whatever reason, they've got very nice voices. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says there's two generalized categories of kirtan, external and internal. What you're asking is how we can get the internal taste. The external taste depends upon time, place, and circumstance. In other words, who's singing, what musical instruments they're playing, where it is, whether they recognize you or not. It's depending on all externals. That's why initially everything depends on the externals. You don't attract people very much. I mean, you can if you're really pure, of course, everything works. But normally you attract people to the kirtan when it's got some factor of attraction. It looks really fun, or there's a beautiful musical sound. The singer's got a really good voice, the instruments are attracting people's attention. External methodology of attracting. Whether the purity is there may or may not be the case. Even kirtan melas, they're full of different types of facets. Some of them are techniques to try to attract people who are on the material platform to be attracted. And then you give the medicine, the purest sound of the holy name. But we may not be on that pure platform, or we may still be on the external platform. So our attraction is the external. We happen to like certain tunes, we like certain singers, we like certain instruments which attract our attention. We like to go to kirtans when so-and-so is there, or it's the thing to do, to go to the kirtan. All the important people are there. The devotees you want to hang out with are there. There's something in common there. But that's surface. That's on the surface. That doesn't prevail. It may happen when you go there. And you've got to go find another one and go there. It's not unimpeded. And someone comes on, Okay, next we have Croaking Frog Das is leading the next kirtan. Please stay for the next kirtan. You might laugh for a few minutes, but you're not going to stay very long. Croaking frog das actually might be pure. You just can't sing for whatever reason very well. Krishna knows, but we may not be very attractive because we're on the external plane. Still. Of course, for the public kirtan, we don't generally invite croaking frog das to lead the kirtan. That'd be a novelty if we invited a big toad. You know, these big, in Australia, these huge frogs, what they call them? Bullfrogs, you know, they're this big. And invite them on stage to lead the kirtan, you know. You know, they sing everybody, they've got such a loud voice, you know. Might have a bit of fun for a while, but we haven't finished with it, we haven't even started yet, we're just on the external. So you were asking how can we go internal. So what do you think, how we can go internal? That's okay, you capture people with the externals. Melodious, Prabhupada said. We're singing for Krishna, it should be melodious. But it may not be with the right attitudes, Pritipurvakam. We're offering prasadam, it may not be abogam, it may not be Pritipurvakam, but we still do it anyway. Well, by doing it, following the right instruction, how to do it. Prabhupada said there's a process. How do you get a taste for chanting? A real taste. Not the external taste, the internal taste. You always be attracted. You always want to chant the holy name. No matter who's singing. You know, you see Krishna there. You see Krishna everything. How to get that internal taste? Prabhupada gave an example one time when Gauri asked that question. He said, how do you become a drunkard? You associate with drunkards and you drink and you become a drunkard. So you associate with chanters, you chant, and you're becoming enchanted. You become a chanter. That could be external also, but you get the ideas by association. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said you get a taste. Do you know how you get a taste for chanting the holy name? Come on. Pardon? By engaging in devotional service. Of course, engaging in devotional service has many angles of looking at that in one sense. Devotional service is not only an activity, it's the attitude which we have in our service. If we're associated with those who have the right attitude and we follow them, then gradually our attitude will improve. If we act independently, then it may not. It may not be actually, Krishna is not obligated to accept our nice samosas and our nice whatever you like to eat, this, that, the other. He's not obligated just because you stick it in front of him. Prabhu, it's prasadam! Oh, Chaitanya is very merciful, but no, Krishna, Radha Krishna are not obligated. They want the love, they want the devotion. They were looking for our love. The attitude. It's the attitude in our service which really counts. So if you really want to have a taste, there's a process. Prabhupada said there's a process. You have to go through the process. Follow the process. The taste will come as the anarthas are removed by following the process. By the grace of the pure devotees of the Lord, all the abuddas are removed. The unwanted things are removed. They're blocking it. Those abuddas give you a taste, but it's a conditional taste. According to your impurities or our impurities, you're attracted to this or that. If someone starts singing the kirtan in your favorite karmi music, you'll be attracted. Or your favorite musical instrument. Or they got their favorite hairstyle. Do you like these easy, crazy hairstyles? The things that stick out here, or the earrings that go here, or the tattoos that go there, and you have the voice that goes wee 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 like this. You know. You like all those things. Or the vibe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Mellow vibe, you like mellow vibes? You like the vibe? Or you like your punk rocker? Or the jumbe. Boom bam bam boom bam 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 boom bam bam bam. Can't hear a word of the holy name. Banging on drums. But that's a great kirtan, Prabhu. Bring more drums. It's not, letting off our steam or whatever. How to enter into that deep one. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said, it's related to what you said, that the gateway to to the taste is service. Service to the devotees, service to Guru, and service to Vaishnavas. Humility and recognition that we have no hope of attaining even a taste. We pray, we serve those who have a taste, or we serve the devotees who are serving those who have a taste. Ultimately, we're serving Prabhupada in our immediate society. And we sincerely try and serve him. Okay. Krishna gives up. It may not be very tasty in the beginning, because we're diseased condition, just like a jaundiced man. Rupa Goswami describes in the beginning, we don't necessarily like the taste of sugar because you're jaundiced. Sugar tastes horrible, bitter. But by taking sugar actually rectifies or counters the jaundice condition. It tastes bitter. So sometimes in the beginning we don't have much of a taste, and we're always looking for the external things to keep us going. Depending on these, we're not really depending on the holy name. We're depending on the paraphernalia, the people, this, that, the other, the arena, things like that. We're not fully. There's a nice story. I'll tell you a story. So when we went, you were with us at the Govardhan retreat, Chaitanya, with Sachinanda Maharaj and Gurujan?
Oh yes, I was there.
You were there. I don't know if you were there that day when Sachinanda was giving us a session talking about different aspects of the holy name. But one thing that just stuck in my mind, I thought I'd never heard it before. It must be somewhere in the Puranas, I guess. But it really stuck in my mind. It's one of the most significant thing I remember about the retreat. He told the story of Draupadi. When she was in the court of the Kauravas. You were there that day? The court of the Kauravas. And you know how Karna and Dushyasana were trying to disrobe her. And she was trying to protect herself initially. And he said, actually, it's something which most people never heard of. At that moment, in Dwarka, Krishna was with Rukmini. And they're playing chess, whatever chess means in terms of Vedic game. He's playing that with his wife, with Rukmini. And Krishna's looking very disturbed, and he's totally distracted from the game, and she, what's going on? What's wrong with you? Rukmini asked him, what's wrong? And he said, one of my devotees is in very difficult. Very difficult. And then Rukmini said, well, why don't you help them? He said, I can't help. Why not? You'll find out. So this was going on simultaneous to Hastinapura in the court of the Kauravas. They were going simultaneous. And at the moment when Draupadi gave up trying to protect herself, she realized, she said, Govinda, Govinda. She completely surrenders, nothing I can do. Then really, Krishna was there. Krishna was there. Right there. When we're ready, and Krishna comes. He's there already, but he's waiting for us to be ready. And by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and devotees, we can be prepared and taking complete shelter. If we still have this idea, I want a taste, I want to feel the vibe, I want to get the buzz, I want to, get the recognition, I want to be freed of suffering, I want to be liberated, I want to be a gopi. Chanting. I'm chanting. What are you doing, Krishna? I'm chanting your name for so long. What have you done for me? And you have to let go of all that. Well, gradually, so we completely take shelter. And we can learn from the pure devotees like Haridas Thakur. What's that prayer? Dasa aparada vina hridayena pashe kripakari mahaprabhu sami namarasi. Yena namarasi, I think it is. Haridas Thakur prays, my Mahaprabhu, please be merciful to me with 10 offences. never affect me when I chant your holy name. When I chant the holy name in Namaras, in love for you, in relationship for you. He's praying like that. He's a Namacharya. That prayer is also for us. You can also put that on a repertoire if you wish. And other prayers which are significant. You can say prayers, pray. There are many prayers notable prayers which you can take and remember and say, sing to remind us of, the nature of the holy name, the relationship with the holy name, how we can become surrendered to the holy name, recognize the holy name is Radha and Krishna. Many prayers there to remind us. We're often mindless when we chant and we think we can get a taste. We're not digesting. I mentioned in the park the other day, digestion. Do you remember that in the park? You can eat food, but it's not going to do you much good unless you digest it. It can cause the opposite effect. You have to be able to digest. You have to hear carefully, churn, chew. We also have to hear the topics concerning Krishna. It's also important. We also said that to become convinced. We must hear from the right source. We must hear the Shastra. We must hear about Krishna, not just chant. We can do that, but generally we're still having many doubts in our hearts and many misconceptions. We have to hear from the right source. Take it around. It sounds like your mouse at the back squeaking.
I'm just thinking about based on my limited immersion.
Thinking about?
Deity worship and the holy name.
Deity worship and the holy name. Good, that's a good thing to think about.
Because of this, I do realize that more of my energy and experience.
Can you repeat? I still can't hear, I'm sorry. You see this fan makes every second it makes a loud noise and it goes quiet, so I hear two words and I miss the next two and then can't piece it together.
I'm just thinking about the deity worship and chanting the holy names.
Very good. Yeah, very good. That's good.
Because deity worship is more energy, more meditation are being spent there than chanting the holy name.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're talking about, kirtan in terms of some kirtan, you're expending a lot of energy, isn't it? I mean, even at Luneta Park, or whatever it's called now, Rizal Park, or whatever they call it, you can be expending a heck of a lot of energy. But if you're talking of japa, which is easier, deity worship or japa?
Deity worship.
Deity worship.
Deity worship is easier than japa.
Much easier. Which is easier, cooking or japa?
Cooking.
Okay.
Which is easier, kirtan or japa?
Kirtan.
Cleaning the temple or japa?
Cleaning the
In the
temple.
temple.
Sleeping or japa?
Sleeping.
Honoring prasadam or japa? I'm not sure sitting in class may not be as easy as japa, I don't know. That's also difficult. Hearing is not very easy. That's the sacrifice. The sacrifice is hearing. Hear! You have to hear. You have to practice hearing. You may say it's not so energetic, but it's more difficult, isn't it? This is a sacrifice. It's a yajna. The real yajna is, to sit there and hear the holy name. That's not easy, is it? Maybe for you it is. I don't know, but most people it's not. Isn't it? How long can you sit and maybe one or two mantras and you suddenly find your mind's gone somewhere else, and probably your body has gone somewhere else as well. You may have gone to sleep or walked out the door or looking at something else. Pick your mobile out of your pocket, starting looking at the mobile, isn't it? So many things, looking at someone else in a room and starting to think about them and maybe some past material thoughts coming up. It's not easy to sit in there. And the same thing in class. Half the time, you're not there. We're sitting here ritualistically. Most of the time, we're not hearing anything, or very little. We're not digesting it anyway. So it's not a question of apparent energy. It takes a lot more energy to focus on the holy name than it does to chop a vegetable. You've got to concentrate, no doubt, when you're cooking or focusing on what you're doing, but it's a lot easier. We're very sentient beings, we're very active, and this passion is very strong. We need to do things. Prabhupada one time said, actually, all you need to do is chant Hare Krishna, because you can't do that. I have to think of so many things to give you to do to keep you engaged. Otherwise, the idle mind is a devil's workshop. All you need to do is chant. When devotee was sick one time, not all the time he wasn't getting sick, but this one devotee was sick. But in his early days, I guess, they asked him what he was doing, and the devotee said, I'm sick, I can't do anything. Well, what do you do? He said, all you can do is chant Hare Krishna. He said, that's all you need to do. That's what it's all for. Don't think, oh no. I mean, you may think like that because you want to serve, obviously that's good also. But the main thing is to ultimately focused on that. You have to learn it. You should be always chanting Hare Krishna. Every day worship has to be accompanied with a holy name. You must chant. Jiva Goswami said otherwise, you're not going to... The chanting of the holy name is the right process, of course. And get us off this egotistic platform. I'm the doer. I'm doing. It's me, it's mine, I did it. All these type of things. And to purify us, everything we do in devotional service, I don't know, I think Balaram quoted that verse the other day at the yajna, he did. I think he quoted it. There we go. Mantatas tantatas chidram dea rastitaha. I'm tired. No, not good. But everything we do is covered by all our services, daily worship, cooking, you name it. And unless unless the chanting of the holy name is going on, it remains chidra, which means 40. It becomes nischidra, it becomes faultless when you're chanting the holy names. We shouldn't use that as an excuse to commit faults, but we can't avoid it. Faults are bound to be there, inevitably in whatever we do in our devotional endeavors. We may like to do it. It's the same principle as taste. We may like to cook. We may do it because you're paid, or whatever. Or if I don't cook, I won't be able to eat, so I better cook. There may be another motive there. You may like dressing the dailies. That's not a problem. If you like doing it, you should do it. But that's not the ultimate point, Not the ultimate point. We're doing it to please Krishna. So we work towards that. And the chanting the holy name is important. Most important of all the regulated principles. Lord Chaitanya said, this is the most important name of devotion. Kirtan. Chant while you cook, chant while you clean, chant while you walk. Francis of Assisi is an interesting quote. You all heard of Franciscan monks? They have their places here in the Philippines, the Franciscans. They have their, missions here. You've heard of the Franciscans, haven't you? Francis of Assisi, a Christian saint. I've seen they're here also. Maybe not so popular here as Europe. But they're very popular, well, they were. And the Prabhupada said he was a saint. He said he was a self-realized soul. Christian monk. He was a strict vegetarian, strict celibate. Totally dependent. He would preach to the animals. He would preach to them. He was able to commune with animals and help them on their progress. And one time he was asked, because they didn't have cars and motorbikes in those days, He says, should we always walk when we go to horses? Should we always walk when we go to preach? One of his followers said, he said, unless your walking is preaching, you shouldn't go anywhere. It's not you go to preach. Every act that we do, every thought we have should be preaching. Glorifying Krishna, Lord. Not you go, get in your car, go to the church, and then for 1 hour you hear about Jesus and go back to the nonsense again. No, every act should be in relationship with Jesus or God, like that. Every act. We have no other business. Okie dokie. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That wasn't difficult. Again, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. That was as easy as pie. One more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. If you chant your japa like that, you will not have time to do anything else anyway. It will take you all day to finish 16 rounds if you chant like that. If you chant following Prabhupada's tape, it takes nearly 14 minutes to chant one round. If you're following exactly 12 to 14 minutes, there's different tapes. It's okay, but you usually don't have enough time for that. We had one devotee, he joined in London. He never met the devotee before, but he heard about the Hare Krishnas and he read about it and so on. And he wanted to start chanting, so maybe he was chanting on some Buddhist beads or something. He started chanting, and he hit 108 beads, 16 rounds a day, so he said, I want to do this. But the only kirtan, only chanting he heard at that point in time was the record, the Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna temple album. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bong. And so he was chanting his japa like that on each bead. Maybe he was chanting like that. And when he came to the temple, the devotees, he thought that's all he did. He was chanting this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It took him 12 hours to chant 16. Came to the temple, he thought, my God, how you guys are doing so many things? When you chant your rounds in the morning? But, yeah, we have 2 hours, that's plenty of time. 2 hours? How can you do it in 2 hours? It takes me 12. 12 hours? What are you doing? Then he said, I'm chanting the mantra on the beads. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Imagine 12 hours. Pretty far out. I don't know what happened to the job. Maybe he stayed now. I always did before I joined. Pretty good. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jangan lupa Swami Maharaj ki jai.